At the outset, I would like, as always, to offer my loving and humble pranams to Bhagwan Baba for blessing me with the opportunity to narrate this famous epic over Radio Sai. Sai Ram, dear listeners, and greetings to all of you from Prashanti Nilayam. Today I shall start the narration of the Yuddha Kandam, which is the sixth and the last of the Kandams that constitute the Ramayana. It's all about Rama's invasion of Lanka, the long and protracted fight between the two opposing armies, and the eventual annihilation of Ravana. Thereafter, Rama reunites with Sita after some tense moments, following which the entire party travels to Ayodhya via Nandigram, picking up Bharata, anxiously waiting there for Rama to come back. The Kandam ends with a glorious description of Rama's coronation, delayed for 14 years because of the priorities of a divine mission. If you recall, in my last talk I was telling you about Hanuman's narration dealing with his discovery of Sita in Lanka as well as his subsequent encounter with Ravana. That news filled Rama with great joy and confidence. Showering lavish praise on Hanuman, Rama recalled that the wise speak of three kinds of people who seek to render service. Foremost are those who not only carry out the task their master has set for them, but go even beyond, keeping in mind the unstated expectations of the master. The mediocre type, on the other hand, take a rather bureaucratic approach, implementing the orders given at a minimum level. The lowest category is made up of people who, even if capable, dodge and evade, offering excuses for non-performance. Hanuman, Rama then declared, was the ideal servant. Not only did he perfectly execute his mandate, but indeed went far beyond by probing the strength of the enemy to some extent, since he felt that this information would be of use to his master. Rama added, "It wrings my heart that in my present circumstance, I am not able to adequately reward Hanuman for the enormous service he has rendered to me. All I can do is to offer a warm embrace." So saying, Rama, in an extraordinary gesture, folded Hanuman in a long and most loving embrace, after which he became rather thoughtful and seemed lost in grief. Approaching Rama and seeking to bring some cheer, Sugriva said, "Rama, why are you so sad? Just take a look at this vast army here. If only these valorous soldiers can get to Lanka, they would swarm the country, get rid of the enemy in no time at all, and reunite Sita with you. All they need is a means of crossing the ocean, and that is the issue we must now focus on. As far as I am concerned, victory has to be ours, and in fact I already see many good omens foretell that." Feeling a bit uplifted, Rama then turned to Hanuman and said, "O valiant one, I do not see crossing the ocean as a serious problem. I am more interested in getting ready for the task that awaits us at the other end. You have been to Lanka and even had a brief encounter with the enemy. How do you assess his strength? What kind of fortifications does Ravana have? Being clever, I am sure you have already gathered some strategic information. Tell us something about the impressions you have gained." Hanuman then gave a detailed description of everything he saw, how all the important and strategic buildings were surrounded with wide moats filled with huge alligators, how Ravana's fighting forces were organized, their numerical strength and military capability, etc. Hanuman concluded with the words, "O Rama, all of us here, including the leading warriors of Sugriva's army, are in full readiness. All we need is your command. The moment we receive it, we shall cross the ocean, defeat the enemy, rescue Sita and restore her to you. Greatly uplifted by Hanuman's stirring assurance, Rama responded, Hanuman, I promise you that I shall myself destroy Lanka. The moment of departure has come and the hour is appropriate. Let us all march forward. Take it from me that having abducted Sita, Ravana cannot escape and will be exterminated. Not wasting a moment, Sugriva then began to give detailed instructions to his commander-in-chief Neela concerning the preparation for the invasion. An advance party was then sent ahead to create a pathway to the sea coast, making it easier for the army to march forward. Commanded by Sugriva, the huge army of Vanaras, along with their various chiefs, then began to march in a southern direction towards the coast, with the Vanaras raising slogans hailing Rama and proclaiming that victory would undoubtedly be theirs. As for Rama and Lakshmana, they were borne by Hanuman and Angada respectively on their shoulders. At last, the mission of annihilating Ravana and rescuing Sita was underway, the huge army raising an enormous dust cloud as it moved forward, crossing rivers and mountains. On the way, Lakshmana saw many good omens, which put both brothers in high spirits. En route, the monkeys enjoyed themselves to the fullest extent, helping themselves to fruits and honey wherever they found it. Eventually, Rama and his brave warriors crossed the Mahendra mountain and entered an excellent wood right next to the sea coast. For the Vanaras, the roaring sea with its huge waves crashing noisily on the shore presented an awesome sight. They had never seen anything like it before, and the sea seemed vast without boundaries and stretching out to infinity where it merged with the sky. Surveying the scene, Rama said to Sugriva, I think we should camp here while we consider the problem of how to cross the ocean. As everyone dispersed to relax and catch some rest, Rama said to Lakshmana, Dear brother, they say that the passage of time dulls grief. In my case, the agony caused by separation from Sita has in fact increased. Do you think I would ever see her again? I shudder to think how she is managing there amidst all those wicked demons. Lakshmana, who shared his brother's pain and suffering, did his best to console Rama. By way of diverting attention, he then said, Rama, the sun is going down. Don't you think it's time for our evening prayers? That was the loyal Lakshmana, ever resourceful in comforting Rama. Even as the Lord's army was preparing to cross the ocean, in Lanka on the other side, Ravana was consulting with his advisors, having heard that Rama was preparing to invade. Addressing them, Ravana said, The advice that one receives from one's counselors falls into one of three categories: good, mediocre, and bad. Good advice is that which is given by counselors after reaching a unanimous decision. It seeks good for all and is entirely supported by the scriptures. Mediocre advice, on the other hand, is that which is based merely on a weak consensus amongst the counselors who hold strongly differing opinions. Third-rate advice is essentially a cacophony, with each advisor stubbornly sticking to his own point of view and raising his voice to shout down his fellow counselors, bothering in the least to see even the slightest merit in the view of others. Ravana continued, Rama is on his way, and there is no doubt that he along with his army would cross the ocean. Lanka is about to be invaded for the first time, and we must protect our country. What I want from you is advice that would be good for Lanka, its people, and our army. Palms joined, and in a most respectful tone, the advisors of Ravana then said, O king, in our view, there is absolutely no need for any concern. Firstly, you have an incredibly powerful army. Secondly, and even more important, is the fact that you have personally achieved so many impossible victories over adversaries famed for their strength and might. Do you not recall how you once made short work of so many powerful Kshatriyas? Rama is in no way equal to them. Have no worry. Your favorite son, the mighty Indrajit, is here. He can single-handedly take care of the entire monkey brigade, even if there be millions of soldiers in them. Your adversary, on the other hand, is a mere human, and there is absolutely no reason for you to have any concern about the outcome of the encounter between you two. You are bound to emerge victorious after slaying your enemy. After this collective effort to boost the morale of Ravana, individual warriors then spoke out one by one in an attempt to cheer up Ravana and infuse confidence into him. The first to do so was Prahasta, the commander-in-chief, who said, "Your Majesty, you would undoubtedly recall that thus far we have, under your inspiring leadership, vanquished all our enemies, no matter to which species they belong, be it the Devas, the Gandharvas, and so on. In the present case, our main adversaries are just two human beings. True, due to lack of alertness on our part, we allowed ourselves to be outwitted by a monkey named Hanuman, who belongs to the enemy's camp. But that mistake would not recur. I shall personally hunt that monkey to the very end of the earth and finish him off. In fact, single-handed, I can wipe out the entire army of monkeys. All I require is one word from you." It was next the turn of a Rakshasa named Durmukha to brag, and he boasted, "The humiliation inflicted on us by that cunning monkey cannot go unanswered. One nod from you, and I shall annihilate all the monkeys, chasing them if need be even to the netherworld." After this rose Vajradramshtra, who rode, "We are wasting time talking about dealing with a bunch of monkeys, when our real enemies are Rama and Lakshmana. If permitted, I can single-handedly take care of those two, and when they are gone, the entire army of monkeys would be in total disarray and flee for their lives. Targeting the two brothers Rama and Lakshmana should be the central point of our strategy. Our tactics must be clever and cunning and exploit the weakness of the enemy. Accordingly, I suggest the following. First, a large group of us who are capable of assuming any form and disguise must take on the human form, dress like soldiers, and march like an army behind Rama's army to catch up with him. When we meet Rama and Lakshmana, we should say, 'Sire, we have been sent by your dear brother Bharata to help you.' Even as the dialogue is going on, more soldiers from here would fly there, trapping Rama's forces between two segments of our soldiers. Caught in this pincer grip, the enemy cannot survive." Even as Vajradamshra sat down after expressing his views, Nikumba, the son of Ravana's brother Kumbhakarna, rose angrily and shouted, "What's all this nonsense going on here? All of you remain here with our king. I shall go out there and single-handedly wipe out not only Rama and Lakshmana, but also Sugriva, his associates, and his entire army." Similar boasts continued for a long while, with Rakshasa after Rakshasa blowing his trumpet and advertising his prowess, asking for permission to annihilate the enemy single-handed. At the end of it all came Vibhishna, the youngest brother of Ravana, who too sought an opportunity to speak to Ravana and offer advice. Vibhishna said, "I find that everyone who has spoken thus far has totally ignored what the wise recommend one should do when faced with a confrontation. The wise say one must, before resorting to armed conflict, first exhaust all peaceful means and conciliatory options available. Violence, the wise always advise, must be the weapon of the very last resort. There are two considerations I would like to submit. Everyone here is advocating armed confrontation. How much do we know about the adversary's strength and weaknesses? Is there any reliable intelligence? I would say none at all, which makes our boasts rather vain and empty. Moreover, what is the moral justification we have for engaging in a war? Who started it all? Did Rama in the first place do anything by way of hurting Lanka or its ruler? It might be argued that Rama started it by wiping out our relative Khara and is a huge tribe. Yes, that is a fact. But was it not Khara who first attacked Rama in his hermitage? Does not Rama have the right of self-defense? If we examine carefully, the present confrontation is the direct result of the unlawful and sinful abduction of Sita. I therefore submit that we forthwith restore Sita to Rama and avert the impending disaster. My dear brother, I know that right now you are seething with anger. Please believe me, Anger is your most deadly enemy and not Rama. Quench your anger, pursue righteousness, restore Sita, and express apologies for the mistakes you have committed. That, in my opinion, is the best way of saving Lanka. Ravana heard it all in silence and did not respond. It being a late hour, he dismissed the assembly and withdrew to his private chamber. Morning came and the assembly met again, with Ravana on the throne and all the others seated in their respective places according to rank and protocol. Offering his respects, Vibhishana sought permission from Ravana to add to his remarks of the previous day. He said, "O gallant brother, what I say may sound discordant, but in offering my views, I have nothing but your welfare in my heart. The other opinions you have received may sound like music to your ears, but they all spell nothing but total ruin for you. That kind of advice is no advice at all. I leave it to you to judge the merit of the counsel you have received from all of us and act as you really ought to." Ravana, who was thus far silent, now spoke and said, "Many things have been said and many opinions expressed in this august assembly. As far as I am concerned, I see no cause whatsoever for any alarm. There is no question of restoring Sita back to Rama. I know my strength, and even if Rama has the assistance of the mighty Indra, he cannot vanquish me. Of that I am certain." With these words, Ravana summarily rejected Vibhishana's advice. Withdrawing to his chambers, Ravana then began to reflect on what had happened. He noted that when Vibhishana spoke, hardly anyone stood up and objected. Did that mean even his brave warriors and senior members of the army were silently sending a signal that Vibhishana was right and that Ravana was wrong? Even as such thoughts passed through Ravana's mind, his passion for Sita increased, consuming like a poison spreading throughout. At the same time, the ground reality was that war was imminent, and the need of the hour was to prepare for it. Thus, when morning came, he went back to the court, this time to order full preparation for war. Taking his seat on the throne, Ravana ordered that all leading personalities of Lanka, other than the councillors already present, be asked to report forthwith for important deliberations. They all came one by one, their arrival being formally announced by court officers in charge of protocol, after which the councillors were solemnly escorted to their respective seats. Vibhishana too came and took his seat after offering respectful salutations to his elder brother. From his high throne, Ravana surveyed the big gathering, even as he took in every detail. The first thing that Ravana did was to order Prahasta, his commander-in-chief, to take all steps for safeguarding the city from enemies' onslaught. Addressing the assembly as a whole, Ravana then said, "All of you are aware of how duty must be discharged, at times both good and bad. Thanks to the support you have unfailingly given me thus far, I have always been victorious. You would of course remember that in everything I have done earlier, I always sought your advice and counsel. However, in relation to certain things that happened some time ago, as a result of which we are facing problems today, I was not able to speak to you at the time those events occurred. That was because my brother Kumbhakarna was asleep then, and I did not wish to speak about important matters when he was not present to hear what I am saying. My dear and valiant brother is now awake. The time has come to tell you what I have thus far not conveyed." Rama then narrated the events leading to his abduction of Sita, how his passion for her was growing by leaps without limit and becoming uncontrollable, and how he had thus far restrained himself because Sita had asked him to wait for 1 full year before forcing her to marry. Ravana carefully omitted to mention that it was not Sita who had set a deadline, but he who had done so. At this moment, when he was fully intoxicated with desire, accuracy of details hardly mattered. Ravana then continued. Rama and Lakshmana are reported to be on their way. However, in order to invade Lanka, they have to first cross the huge ocean that lies in between. And I am not too sure if they can achieve that feat. In any case, this is my stand and position. I shall not give up Sita under any circumstance. She is mine and must always be with me. About that, I am very clear. The issue before you is how to defeat and annihilate the enemy. Should he actually perform the impossible feat of crossing the ocean and invading Lanka? I want your views on the matter. I think I shall stop here for today. However, before I sign off, I would like to say something more. No, I am not going to talk to you about writing to us with your comments about our programs, etc. What I am going to say is quite different and on a subject which I normally do not bring up on the air. Before I make my remarks, let me give you some background. A few days ago, I had a brief meeting with Mr. Naganan, a distinguished lawyer who wears many hats in relation to the ashram here. Among other things, he is a member of the Committee of Management of the Sri Sathya Sai Central Trust, a member of the Sri Sathya Sai Medical Trust, and also the Sri Sathya Sai Media Foundation, under whose umbrella Radio Sai functions, etc. I should not forget to mention that Mr. Naganand is also the legal advisor to the Sri Sathya Sai Central Trust. There is a specific reason why I am bringing Mr. Naganand into the picture. Recently, he was in New York on some work, and while he was there, he addressed two local Sai Samitis. He told me that on both occasions he asked, as he always does when he addresses an overseas gathering, as to how many among those present listened to Radio Sai. Apparently, not many hands went up on both occasions. He then told his audience about Radio Sai, its website and all that. The story does not end here. After his formal talk, he was chatting with many people from the audience when one of them asked, Swami does not like websites. How come you are running a website? Is it legitimate? Is it official? Mr. Nagan told me, I just could not believe what I heard. I should tell you that neither could I. In a nutshell, I wondered how in this day and age, and that too in America, with all its state-of-the-art communication technology, there were people who had not heard of Radio Sai and did not properly appreciate Swami's views about computers. In fairness, I should at this point mention that a month or so ago, we had two big Sai Yatra groups coming from America to Prashanti Nilayam. And our boys had close interaction with these two groups. As usual, we did a poll about how many people were listening to Radio Sai, and we were absolutely delighted that almost all hands went up. But we have had our surprises too. For example, in late July, there was a big youth group from the UK, and our poll results there were rather disappointing. A very large number of people in the group said they simply were not aware that there was an agency called Radio Sai engaged in serving devotees all the world over 24/7. Getting back to the question about Swami objecting to website, asked of Mr. Nagan in the private Q&A session which I referred to a short while ago, it shows how people can jump from A to Z. I have been here for 18 years non-stop, starting from about 3 weeks after retirement. During this period, I have been the Vice Chancellor for one term, and I know precisely how Swami reacted to computers, technology, etc. He emphatically disapproves of humans becoming enslaved by technology, like the way some people cannot be separated from cell phone these days. Maybe the person who wondered about Swami's misgivings about websites was guided by this viewpoint of Swami. Yes, it is true Swami is allergic to computer addiction. At the same time, Swami has himself approved of a Department of Computer Science in his university and has allowed the use of computers all over the place in his hospitals. If you have ever come to the ashram and asked for accommodation, you must have seen the people allotting rooms using computers. Surely the person who asked the question about Swami disapproving websites must have known at least about the use of computers in the ashram, as also the fact that the Sathya Sai Society of America, under whose auspices all samitis in America function, has an active website run by Dr. David Grice, who is the zonal chairman. And by the way, David Grice is a professor of computer science in Cornell and uses computers all the time, even when he is here. Let me tell you what exactly pains me. I don't fault people for not being aware of or for being ignorant, etc. If, for example, you suddenly ask me what is the capital of Papua, which is to the north of Australia, I would not be able to tell you the answer. But we are not talking of something remote like that. We are talking of Radio Sai, which happily would be celebrating its anniversary this 23rd November, when humanity is immersed in the celebration of the 85th anniversary of the Sri Sathya Sai Avatar. On 23rd November 2001, here in Sai Kulwant Hall, Swami inaugurated the broadcast service as a part of the birthday celebration. Over the first decade, we have not only extended our range but also significantly diversified our services as well as the range of outreach. You can reach us from anywhere, including an airport in, say, Montreal, if you have a laptop and internet connection. In fact, a merchant navy officer who serves on vessels belonging to a Japanese company and who regularly sails on the Indian Ocean listens to us via our satellite radio service while doing watch duty. We even had him speak to a radio service recently, and some of you might have even heard it. We can be heard on the iPhone all over the world. We have 5 channels, radio channels, I should add, currently, including one broadcasting only bhajans and one broadcasting only Swami's discourses. I do not know if you are following what I am trying to get at, but here is my point. How can we be unauthorized or unofficial if the service is running right out of Prashanthi Nilayam? Thousands of people walk past our studio every single day as they go to the shopping center or the bakery or to the bookshop. How can they miss seeing our big board that announces our presence? We bring every single function in Sai Kulwant Hall celebrated in the Divine Presence. How could we be unofficial or unauthorized? Our staff consists almost entirely of Swami's boys who studied here and have been blessed to stay here and serve Swami as staff members of the Sri Sathya Sai Sadhana Trust, an official entity which includes the canteen, the bookstore, the shopping center, etc. How then could our website be unauthorized? Dear listeners, wherever you are, having been associated with Radio Sai from the time it was a mere idea, I can tell you how satisfied I feel about the growth and outreach during the first decade of its existence. As we prepare to enter the second decade, we have great plans to expand our programs and services so as to reach a much larger audience, because today's world badly needs Swami's message. Let's go back to New York again for a moment. Without expressing any kind of comment, I suppose I can mention that the recent economic collapse that has engulfed the whole world started with a collapse of the market right there in New York. And that happened basically because people involved in the market there totally forgot that greed is not good but absolutely dangerous. How many of you know that Swami has been warning his MBA students about the importance of moral values in business from 1985? That is 25 years ago. In brief, whether we like it or not, the world urgently needs Swami's message in depth. And that means everyone in this world, and not just the people of this ethnicity or people of that country, for who is not a child of God. And that message is brought to the world 24/7 by Radio Sai in various ways, all of which would be significantly enhanced shortly. Dear listeners, please tell those who do not know about Radio Sai how they can remain constantly connected to Swami and his message all the time via our services. If they have any lingering doubts, tell them we do all this with the direct blessing of Swami. In fact, Swami also listens to our broadcasts from time to time. Radio Sai can reach you wherever you are, and all you need is the connectivity. It's unfortunate that while the people in South Africa are not able to connect to us because of the poor internet connectivity and very high cost, even though they are desperate to do so, many in the UK and USA who can easily connect to us are not even aware of our existence. And yet the slightest rumor about Swami seems to reach even the little green men in Mars. I wonder what that means. I shall stop here, but not before repeating my earnest plea that all of you who listen to us must kindly tell others who do not know about our services to connect to us right away so that Swami can enter their lives also 24/7. Many a time people drop into my office to express admiration for Radio Sai and Heart to Heart and then ask, "What can we do for you?" I always reply, "Please tell as many as you can that we exist." Making the same plea, I bring this talk to a close. Thank you for listening and may God bless you all. As always, I offer this talk at the lotus feet of Swami as a token of our love for him and gratitude to him. Jai Sai Ram.